Hey, welcome to Ice Age TV, and yeah, a little different look, being I'm already in my office, and it's been delayed beyond delayed because of the Saturday morning project. So hey, told everybody to kind of get back and touch on the video for Saturday morning conversations and share some more information on the CAMARO Z28. So for me, I've reserved a 2014 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 black. And actually, I close to a month ago with Carvana, I put a $100 deposit on being the first to have right of refusal of this car. And I've always been intrigued to buy a Camaro Z28 throughout my many years, and I've come close to buying the ZL1, most recent Camaros as well. Just never have done it, but just for some reason, I got this crazy idea here about a month ago. Why wouldn't I look for a nice retro Camaro, get something in my collection that was kind of unique and different? And so that's what I've done. So if you see here, I'm going to switch around my camera here. Here is a used 2014 Camaro Z28 with 33,000 miles on it. And I've done some research on the car. And believe it or not, I actually, back in 2015, had an opportunity to buy that car in the red color from one of my local dealers. But I was always trying to figure out trying to rethink what kind of held me back from buying that car. And it's such a race-oriented car that I just felt like maybe it wasn't practical. But also, now looking at the information in this car, it was close to an $80,000 car. And I'm sure the dealer back at that time probably had ADM. So now I kind of know back in 2014-15 why I was hesitant to buy a Camaro Z28, because they're so pricey. And it's such the race car technology built into it. But now, years later, I'm kind of doing some research. What's incredible is in 2014, 509 Camaro Z28s were actually built. So not many. And apparently, I think in 2015, about 11 or 1,200 or so were built as well. I think they built a total of 1,800, 1,869 Camaro Z28s, and they only had a 2-year run. So this is a very limited production car, and it's really cool because it's got the 7-liter small block 427. You'd be thinking it's the big block, but apparently it's a 7-liter. I could be wrong about that, and they call it small block, big block, LS7 motor that has 505 horsepower and 481 foot-pounds of torque, and it's a manual transmission, and the car's kind of been stripped down a little bit to be about a 3,800 and change weight vehicle, which isn't really that light a vehicle considering the new Dark Horse Mustang is right in that same category of that type of weight. So GT350, but you could have the rear seat delete. But they say if you take the rear seat out, you have to get structural support, so it makes actually the car a little heavier. You're better off leaving the rear seat intact. And what's really cool though is this vehicle has doesn't have the Magna Ride suspension. It actually has the DSSV technology that's been in Formula One cars, Aston Martin 1. And what's really cool is Multimatic company that's building right now the Mustang GT3 and the future Mustang GTD. Multimatic actually designed this DSSV dynamic suspension spool valve for this car, which is so cool to find out that Multimatic, who's so involved right now with the future Ford Mustang GTD. If you don't know much about that, you should look it up. It's a really incredible suspension type of setup. So apparently this is the early stages. This Camaro had that technology, which I never even knew that. So this car really has some really cool early technology in it. And I just think that these things were really just really cool cars. And actually, reading my notes here, the production of Z28 was limited to only 1,801 were ever built over the course of 2 model years. 509 cars in 2014 and 1,292 in 2015. So the car was only a 2-year run. But the challenging part is it's a used car, which has some considerable mileage on it. But at the same time, the challenge is what's the real value of that car in today's market? And I've done a lot of research on that. And if you look here, Carvana is wanting $59,990, and that's a little salty. That car there in the market probably is about a $45,000 to $50,000 car if you do your research, but it's kind of all over the place because these cars with very low mileage are hitting close to $100,000 values, $70,000, $80,000. But if this wasn't on Carvana, my guess would be an individual would maybe get in between 45 and 50 grand for the car. So once again, I think Carvana is a little salty on it, but at the same time, if you do your research, there's not a lot of these in the marketplace per se, and the mileage on it isn't, radically too bad. But for me, I'm very intrigued about this car. But the thing is, this car's suspension is very taut. So the springs, this is a total race car type of vehicle. I would say it probably has the characteristics of a Nissan GTR that has a very rigid suspension. So for me, once again, my thoughts are, why don't I lock down this Carvana Camaro car and have an opportunity to look at it and to see if this would be something that would really just really excite me and be everything what I want it to be. Now, I can just tell by looking at the tires, those aren't the original factory tires, because the original factory tires were the track tires, a much more aggressive tire. And it's interesting to kind of look at the reviews from the drivers that drove these things back like in 2014 and 15, and to hear the different comments and the characteristics of the way it drives. And back at that time, that was a very fast car, track car, not so much the 0 to 60, the quarter mile car, but more about the actual track car. And it's interesting on how they talk about the 305 30 YR19 tires all the way around the car. And they're the Pirelli P0 Trofeo R tires. So it'd be really cool, does Pirelli even still have those tires available, or do I have to go to the Nitto drag tire, which I don't even know much about that. It also talks about the actual big Brembo brakes, like the carbon fiber, carbon ceramic brakes on the, and they claim in these videos here that the car has incredible stopping power, and it's just an incredible track-oriented car. So for me, once again, I'm just sharing with everybody on my channel that here's a car that I actually just locked up for me to buy from Carvana. And what's really cool about this is they will actually deliver this car, and it's no extra fee. I could actually go to the vending machine to look at the car. And let's see if I can get it to go any further. It's not wanting to, what's going on here? So I kind of lost that. So what's really cool about this is I definitely have time to come to closure if I think this is a good car to buy, because Carvana has a great price guarantee, refund guarantee. And what I mean by that is you can go out and I can have this car delivered to my house, and they can actually let me drive around the neighborhood and let me come to closure if this is really the car that I really want. And it's so funny and how this has such the Camaro, newer Camaro kind of look to it. If you kind of look at it because of the squared off lines, and that was the running joke of the new Mustang, is it had such a Camaro type of personality. But I really love how it has that 427 7-liter motor in it. I just really like the look of this car. And it's hard to believe this is a 10-year-old car now, which I think is really cool. And it has such the, you're going back to old school in so many ways. Let's see if I can get the interior views for you. I don't know if I can do that or not. Let's see the interior, because the front seat, I can tell that the driver's seat is in kind of pretty not great shape. It's showing a lot of wear and tear on the left side here. I don't know if I can get this thing to move around, but you can kind of see it here. It's really you're going to see it's a lot of wear and tear of somebody getting out of that car. But if you look at the dash and you look at technology, some of these cars were actually ordered without the air conditioning, I believe. I can not totally positive on that. But once again, what's so cool about this car in Carvana is they can bring it to my house, and I can literally look at the car and kind of come to closure if I think this is something I really like and drive it. And if I don't, they can just take the car back. And they don't actually take your deposit money. So like right now, you have to go through the process here of ordering this car through Carvana. This would be the third Carvana purchase for me. And I've learned on how they operate. So even though they want you to put money down, they just verify your checking account to see if you have the funds available to buy the car. But you have up to the last day prior to the day of buying the car to put the funds in your account for them to take out of your account to complete the process. And I'm using the in-house Carvana financing, which isn't really the greatest idea, but I just can't get credit that easily. So my view is buy it, and hopefully down the road I can refinance it for a better rate. It's kind of what I'm thinking. But once again, they can bring the car to my house. I can really check it out. And until I sign the paperwork that I want the car, then they take my money. If I don't sign the paperwork, they never took my deposit money, which is really cool. Then the next thing is you have 1 week to drive the car. And if you're not happy with the car, as long as you return the car in the exact same condition as you picked it up, they will refund you 100% of your money, is my understanding, of your deposit. And then just tear up the agreement that you signed. So I think this is really cool, and I think it'd be pretty neat, even though I was such a Corvette guy over the many years and never really had many Camaros in my life, but I've always been intrigued to pick up a Camaro, and I so wanted that Z28 back in the day. But back in 2014-15, it was very hard to digest, an $80,000 to $90,000 car, and I really was more on the page waiting for the new Corvette, which was the C7, which I did. I bought a 2015 C7 Corvette Stingray, and I think I paid like $56,000 or $58,000 for that car. So it was like a $20,000 difference in price of the vehicle, and it just made more sense to get that, which was more of a daily type of capable driving car, versus this being so much the race car oriented car. So there you go. There's the story of what's going on in my life. And now you can say, what about the Fast Johnny? Nah, that deal's not going to go. It doesn't make any sense. Way too much money out of my pocket. I'm just really kind of pulling back now that the Camaro's kind of shown up. And I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do anything. I think I'm just going to take a pause on the Harley, even though I could do a 2024. But, I'm not really that excited about the new 24 Harley-Davidson Street Glide. I don't like the handlebars, how far down they push you down. Until you ride a motorcycle and you understand as you get older, where your heart is and your blood flow and how you get your blood around your body. When you ride a motorcycle where your hands are way down all the time, you're not getting the same blood flow. You really want more of a level riding, motorcycle where it's more level to your heart or a little higher up, so your blood pressure and your blood circulates. When you go low down, sometimes you get older, you don't have that blood circulation, and your hands go numb. So I think that's going to be a problem in that Street Glide for a lot of older people that have to change out the bars. It's just so weird, but I've been riding around on the Road Glide, and here's the deal. I could get a Fast Johnny Road Glide in place of my 23 CVO. Actually, I could pull a deal on that, and it would probably a Road Glide, Fast Johnny, 23 leftover. We could make the numbers work, not too crazy. And in some ways that makes sense, but it doesn't, because I have a 21 Road Glide CVO sitting in my trailer with a 117 motor on it. So in so many ways, if I buy the Fast Johnny, I have kind of bought, in so many ways, a CVO Road Glide again. It makes no sense. So I think it's just going to turn to a timeout on the CVO with 23 Harley-Davidson, and I'm paying down the debt on that bike and just reevaluate down the road what makes more sense. Meanwhile, my friend Chris is taking his Breakout to the dealership today just for the exact reason I'm talking about. He's going to get the meat hangers, the 10-inch riser handlebars for his Breakout, because he's got that challenge of that blood flow that's like getting to his hands. So I think I'm going to go jump on my favorite motorcycle, which is that Honda Goldwing, and take a ride out to Winchester with them just to have a companion to ride out on a kind of a cold day and have a little fun motorcycling and maybe do a little video time of us going out there and see my buddies out there at Skyline Harley and kind of call it a day. So there's the video when I told you I'd make again to finish out the day and give you a heads up what's going on. So a week from today, technically, Carvana is supposed to come out to my house between 2 and 5 o'clock and deliver the vehicle. I could go to their vending machine, which is about an hour from my house here. But you know what? Then I got to take one car over just to get there, bring another car back. And my thoughts are, you know what? Let them bring it to my house. And let me drive around my neighborhood and let me get a taste of the car here. And just probably more relaxed environment and better environment. And I can really see the car a lot better, be on the flatbed of the truck. I can look up underneath of it. I think you get a little more attention to detail. Only downside is next Saturday, it's a week away. Weather can change, but it's supposed to maybe be raining, so that'd be cool if that all changed. So there's your update. And for me, I haven't owned a Chevy product in years. But, you know, for me then, does this turn into the future purchase of the new C8 Corvette one day? I mean, does this now go to the Corvette, the Chevy side, or now I start kind of getting rid of some things for the Chevy enthusiasm? My kid's super excited. She claims she's always wanted that generation Corvette, Camaro. And so, yeah, is somebody excited? Very excited. Good news is in this car, it does have, looks like more of an all-season tire, so it would be more of a driving car this time of year. But I think this thing's going to be pretty rigid. But they say that the glass in the car is a third less thickness of the glass on the non-Z28 cars. And it's supposed to give you more of interior noise, and it doesn't have as much interior padding. So this thing gives you much more of that noise of a real loud car, which that would be pretty cool. Maybe, maybe not. All right, well, that's it. I can talk all day. And the next I can make another video of me on the Honda Goldwing. So stay tuned for more adventures. Thanks for all the support, great comments, and stay tuned for Monday. Am I going to cut it off? I don't think it will. Probably have more conversations. God bless. Have a great day.